Welcome to a cozy collection of Reddit stories to unwind with. I recently joined a group chat on Discord with 4 members, including a male participant who, from the very first day, began sharing personal information and discussing his trauma. He frequently sought reassurance, despite having known us for only about 4 days. He expressed that he was already considering us his best friends. He often made every conversation about himself, interrupting others to share what he was doing. When no one responded to his complaints, he would ping everyone, asking how we were doing with an almost unsettling kindness. While this was considerate when we did respond, he would simply say good and continue venting, assuming we were paying attention. At the beginning of the group chat, he mentioned that we could inform him if anything he said made us uncomfortable so that he could adjust his behavior. I first addressed his comments when I expressed that I was tired of his jokes about his new boyfriend. He took my feedback personally and said he was going to sleep because he realized he had made me uncomfortable. I clarified that it was the redundancy of his remarks that bothered me, but he had already gone offline. The second time I addressed him was about an hour ago when he wrote that he had experienced a short seizure and received no responses. I had refrained from speaking in the group chat for a day to determine if he was the problem, and I concluded that he was. I told him I hoped he felt better and suggested that he talk to his boyfriend, who might be able to help him in real life if it happened again. He responded by saying he was allowed to discuss his feelings in the group chat and intended to continue doing so. I finally mustered the courage to tell him that his discussions were triggering for me. Before I could explain further, he claimed that he couldn't talk about anything around me because everything was triggering for me. He then left the group chat stating he was not dealing with this and subsequently blocked all of us on Discord. While writing this, I feel heavy. Even though I believe I did the right thing, I still feel strange about the situation. It sounds like you had a pretty rough experience in that Discord group. It's tough when a person overshares and turns every conversation into a one-man show, especially when you barely know them. The constant pinging for attention is definitely a red flag. It's great that you tried to set boundaries by calling him out, but it seems like he took it way too personally. You were right to suggest that he talk to his boyfriend instead. It's not your job to be his therapist, especially when it's triggering for you. His response to leave the group and block all the people is pretty excessive, but it's on him for not respecting your feelings. It makes sense to feel heavy after all that, but you did the right thing by standing up for yourself. Sometimes, stepping back from a mess is the best move for your mental health. Just remember, it's okay to prioritize your own comfort. Aita, my partner and I got into a huge fight. My boyfriend, Max, and I went to his cabin over the weekend. During our time there, Max expressed his frustration about the money he has lost from stocks. I tried to reassure him by saying that he is not the only one who has faced significant losses in the stock market. He then asked me who I was referring to when I mentioned that someone else had also lost money. I explained that it was a man I occasionally speak with at the gym, whose name I could not remember. This man has a wife, and I had informed him that I have a boyfriend, Max. Our conversations last about 2 to 3 minutes at most, and I have never spoken to him outside of the gym. He typically just offers me tips on my form. Max became upset, claiming that men only approach women when they want something from them. He suggested that I must be close to this man if I felt comfortable discussing stocks with him. Max then stated that he would now be friendly and not dismissive toward other women at his gym. After this disagreement, we went to lunch. Max was visibly angry and did not want to engage in conversation with me. When we sat down at the table, he immediately called a friend and started conversing with everyone except me. We also had his 2 dogs with us, and they were not on a leash, which would become important later. Feeling upset, I got up and sat a few feet away from his parked car. I was crying and did not have my phone with me. I expected that he would at least come around to check on me, but when I got up from the steps, I discovered that he had left. He did not look for me in the parking lot. He got into his car, aware that I was not in it, and drove off. I remained at the restaurant for hours until I was able to borrow someone else's phone to call him. When he picked me up, he claimed he had searched everywhere for me, although he did not go into the restaurant because of the dogs. He accused me of abandoning him and the dogs. He made hurtful comments comparing me to his mother, who gave him up for adoption, and stated that he would never want to have a child with me. He told me I needed to find another place to live and declared that he was done. He expressed a lack of hope for women. Eventually, we resolved the situation and are fine now, but I am left wondering if I was in the wrong. Am I the one at fault? Bro, that's wild. You did nothing to be ashamed of. If your boyfriend thinks men only approach women for one reason, it sounds like he's projecting his own insecurities. Having a brief chat with a guy at the gym doesn't mean you're close to him. It's odd that he reacted so strongly over a casual conversation. Instead of talking it out, he ignored you and left, which is pretty wrong. It's super shady to blame you for abandoning him and the dogs when he didn't even check on you. Plus, throwing in comments about not wanting kids with you is just harsh. Relationships should be about support, not accusations and threats. If he's going to act like that, it's worth reconsidering the whole situation. You deserve a person who trusts you and communicates better. Aita for taking a present back after a breakup. I am a 17-year-old male who was dating my ex-girlfriend, a 17-year-old female, for 2 years and 3 months at the time of our breakup. I care for her immensely and never wanted to end things. However, we were both very young and the relationship was draining for both of us. Eventually, it became clear that it was healthy and responsible to end the relationship. We ended things as politely as possible and agreed that we were open to staying friends in the future, but not too quickly, as we both needed time to figure out who we were on our own. It has been a few months since the breakup, and we are both doing better. Neither of us has moved on to other relationships. Instead, we have focused on working on ourselves and strengthening our friendships and social lives. Overall, things are improving. However, a slight problem has arisen. Before our breakup, I purchased tickets for both of us to a concert that is now a few months away. When I bought the tickets, the concert was just under a year away. After the breakup, I had to decide what to do about her ticket. Almost my entire family is attending the concert because it is a band we all enjoy, and they were open to her joining us, even after our breakup. I made it clear that I was uncomfortable with this idea and explained my reasons. The concert is sold out, so there would not be an opportunity for her to find someone else to go with her. I believe that it would be awkward and could ruin the experience for both of us. Therefore, I decided to take back her ticket and give it to my best friend, who was also supposed to attend the concert. He was in a similar situation as he was supposed to go with his girlfriend, but they broke up and she took his ticket away. I thought it would be appropriate to give him the ticket. I feel horrible about this decision and recognize that I am partially in the wrong for taking back the ticket and giving it to someone else. It was a birthday present, which complicates matters. However, I do not believe there was an alternative choice that I could have made, and since I paid for the ticket, I felt it was my decision regarding who it went to. I feel terrible about the situation, but I believe it was the only logical decision that would prevent the concert from being ruined. Although we are mostly on good terms, I can understand why there may be some resentment from her side. Man, you bear some fault. Gift is a gift, plain and simple. Once you gave her those tickets, they became her property. You made a choice to give them as a birthday present, so you can't just take them back later. That's not how it works. You're trying to justify your actions, but deep down you know it's wrong. Even if the tickets are in your name, it doesn't change the fact that you gave them to her. It's about respect and keeping your word. Taking back a gift makes you look like an asshole. Just let it go, you've already lost that right. Aita for asking my partner to make a job sacrifice. My husband, who is 29 years old, has worked his way up in finance to a higher position. My field pays very little and we have 2 children aged 4 and 2. When our oldest was born, I transitioned from a full-time job that I loved to a part-time role while my mother cared for her for free. I was making barely over minimum wage, and it was not a job I could advance in. After my mother became ill during my second pregnancy, I decided to stay home full-time to care for my children and also work as a nanny. This situation has been extremely challenging for me. Our eldest child has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder with sensory processing disorder and possibly autism spectrum disorder. She experiences many difficult days characterized by hyperactivity, intensity, meltdowns, and impulsivity. On her challenging days, she can be a danger to my younger child and to other children, whether intentionally or unintentionally. I expressed a strong desire to find a way to reduce my 24/7 caregiving responsibilities because it is exhausting. I wanted to return to work part-time, but we could not afford childcare. Initially, neither of us was willing to work fluctuating schedules, such as second or third shifts, so I waited. Additionally, the children I was watching were not a good fit for me. One infant was particularly sensitive, and I believe I lost some hearing due to his crying. I felt overwhelmed, and my husband kept saying we would figure it out, except for changing his job. Fast forward a year, I decided to become a compensated surrogate to earn extra income while still caring for additional children. The pregnancy was incredibly difficult, and I frequently communicated how worn down I felt. Despite this, my husband remained unresponsive to my needs and would have been fine with me working a second shift after caring for multiple children all day while pregnant. I reached a breaking point, expressing that I could no longer handle being with children all day, every day. I had a challenging birth and nearly required a transfusion, but I eventually recovered. To generate more income, I decided to sell my breast milk, as we were financially struggling again. I pumped around the clock, waking up every 3 hours to maintain my supply, all while taking care of extra children and our high-maintenance 4-year-old, while my husband worked a standard office job from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for 40 to 45 hours a week. Finally, a job opportunity arose within his company that he would not enjoy as much, but it offered the potential for commission in addition to a base salary. This position could significantly increase our income, but it required him to work 45 to 55 hours a week. He mentioned that he would likely get the job if he applied, but he does not want to take it due to the extra hours. If he accepted the position, I would not have to take on additional responsibilities, allowing me to focus more on our children while working part-time for my mental well-being. We would also benefit financially. I have pleaded with him to apply for this position for several months, but he has refused. This is the only job that has come up in months within his company that could improve our situation. I feel genuinely hurt that he is unwilling to even apply to see what they might offer him, especially considering all I have sacrificed for our family's well-being over the past 2 years. It seems like you're really spreading yourself too thin with all these responsibilities. Taking on a nanny job with a high-needs toddler and a newborn is a lot, especially when your oldest is already a handful. It's no surprise you're feeling burnout. Then becoming a surrogate on top of everything. That's a huge strain on your body and mind. Pumping milk while juggling all these kids can't be easy either. You might be under so much stress that it's affecting your eldest too. Your husband really needs to step up instead of just watching from the sidelines. You both should sit down and figure this out together. If he's not willing, then it's time to make some changes for yourself. Take a break from breastfeeding and nannying. Your health and sanity matter more than anything else. Aita for upsetting my parent at my birthday celebrations. I, a 17-year-old female, celebrated my birthday a few days ago. I was away on a school trip on my actual birthday, but the next day I was at home with my family and we celebrated then. I had a great day on the school trip with my friends, but my experience at home was not as enjoyable. The morning started off well. We exchanged presents and I was very happy and thanked my parents for their effort. We went out for a nice dinner and everything seemed great. However, when we got home, I was very tired from traveling the previous day and wanted to go to bed. My mother wanted to take photos, but she often posts pictures I do not like on social media, even after I have asked her not to. This annoyed me quite a bit. She lit my birthday cake and I posed for photos, but she commented that I looked miserable, which only made me more frustrated. Normally, we have a family tradition of singing happy birthday in multiple languages, but since I was tired, I had requested that we only sing it in one language. They sang in English and then moved to French, and I asked them again to stop. When they tried to sing in Spanish, I became very upset that they were not listening to me and attempted to leave the room. However, my father shouted at me, so I returned, blew out my candles, and had a slice of cake. Afterward, my mother went off upset and my father and sister, who is 19 years old, expressed their anger toward me, saying that I had upset her. I tried to explain that I was frustrated because no one was listening to me, which is a recurring issue in my family. My sister, who is studying psychology, even called me a narcissist. They wanted me to apologize to my mother, but I genuinely did not feel I had done anything more wrong than she had. When I spoke to my mother, she expressed that my birthday was not just about me but also about the family and her, since she had given birth to me. I responded that it was my birthday, so people should consider my preferences for small things. I mentioned that on their birthdays, I make a significant effort to accommodate their wishes because it is their special day. My mother told me that I was not listening to her and that I was not validating her feelings, and she stated that she would not make an effort for my next birthday. This led to a heated argument about what I contribute to the family versus what she and the other family members do. She accused me of withdrawing from the family and the traditions, yet she is the one who sent me to boarding school. I could be in the wrong because I did upset my mother, which I did not intend to do. I was irritable and a bit grumpy initially because I was tired, and my mother had made some rather hurtful remarks. I might be overreacting, but there is a lot of underlying frustration toward my mother for various reasons. I feel very upset and annoyed because my birthday ended in tears for me, yet it seems that no one cares about my feelings. They only care that my mother is upset. She is the adult, so why should she rely on me to validate her feelings and listen to her when she does not take my feelings into account? It feels very much like a double standard. Oh wow, it sounds like you're stuck dealing with your family dynamics. Growing up in an enmeshed family can be exhausting, where everyone's feelings seem to affect everyone else. It's exhausting when small issues blow up into big fights. You deserve to celebrate your birthday how you want, and it's not fair for your mom to make it about her. It's your day after all. Setting boundaries is key here, and you shouldn't feel guilty for wanting a simple celebration. It's wild that your sister brought up psychological terms instead of just listening to you. Just remember, your feelings matter, and you're not doing too much. Focus on what makes you feel good, and don't let their drama overshadow your special day. Aita for signing name for friend. This situation may seem trivial, but I wanted to share my experience and hear others' thoughts on it. My friend and I, who attend the same college, were placed in the same recitation for a math class. We are not very close friends. We usually just say hello and occasionally chat. We teamed up with some other classmates to work on a problem worksheet that needed to be submitted at the end of class with all group members' names. For a few weeks, everything went normally. My friend and I would chat during our walk to other classes and then part ways. One week, he asked if I could put his name on the recitation worksheet. I agreed but asked why he was skipping class. He mentioned that he needed to catch up in another course he was taking. I thought that was an unreasonable excuse for missing recitation and asking someone else to put his name down, but I still decided to help him. The following week, I had a bad feeling, and sure enough, he sent me the same request again. This time, I told him I was not comfortable putting his name down. I did not think it was fair to me or our other group members to give him an easy way out. He responded, "Oh, I wasn't expecting that," which I found somewhat annoying, as if I owed him another favor. I had already helped him once. Later, he unexpectedly showed up to class, which I found absurd. It seemed that he was taking advantage of my willingness to help. After I declined to put his name on the worksheet, he gave me the cold shoulder, which felt petty and unnecessary. I told him that I did not feel comfortable attending class on his behalf, and I believe it was fair to express that. I'm unsure who is in the wrong in this situation. We have not spoken since, and I suspect he dropped the class. Am I the one at fault? You did nothing to be ashamed of at all. It sounds like your friend was just trying to take advantage of you. Asking you to put his name down because he skipped class is pretty weak, especially when he just didn't feel like going. If he's already struggling, he should be putting in the effort, not expecting freebies from you. Plus, you'd be the one facing the consequences if things went south. It's definitely not fair to you or your group mates. Honestly, it's kind of ridiculous that he thought he could just keep asking for favors. The cold treatment he's giving you now seems pretty petty too. You made the right call by not helping him out again. If he dropped the class, that's on him. Just keep doing your thing. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.